photographs.
And this room, if you remember, came after here.
Yes, it was
it was the meat larder.
It was a
when we moved
meat
in,
larder
yeah.
when we came.
Oh, we're in the hall now. I'm just saying things for the
For this.
recorder to
Yes, it was
understand.
the meat pantry.
Oh, I thought you were saying this was the plant room.
Yes, that door was there,
Yes.
and there was a wall along here and round here.
Right.
Somehow.
So you could.
That part was you couldn't get.
Okay,
out.
but you could get into.
Yes, you could get into there. There was
Right.
a larder there.
Yes.
There was a room across here
Yeah.
with the boiler in.
Which you could only get to from
Which
the
you
outside.
get to from a door there.
Yes,
which
yes, with that dining room, we can see where that
Yes.
window was a
you
door.
couldn't get through to these two rooms at all. You had
These
to go
were
out to
dreadful.
Yes.
They were in a
Right.
terrible state.
I think
Shirley
we've
did
seen
give us
the
a
odd
couple
photograph.
of pictures of you,
Yes.
obviously where the surround for the fireplace was just propped against the wall,
Yes.
but the plaster was falling off, and it was just.
Oh, it was terrible.
Well,
These
not the
were,
plaster
these
off.
were
And
completely
plastered.
uninhabited. These
Yes.
rooms.
And they
It was just
stank
like-
of cats because
Oh.
Percy
He used to feed his
had-
cats.
there were a lot of feral cats
Oh,
which Percy
right.
used to feed, and they were out here, and it was just full of debris, and it was horrible.
Well, Brenda and John have got many, at the lodge where Percy then finally ended up. Their stories of how utterly disgusting
Oh,
that
that
was,
house,
and
oh.
cats, and
I never
the
went in
smell,
there.
and
No.
was
And you-
just
Just so
terrible.
horrible.
I
Well,
don't know how anyone
you're-
could have bought it, actually.
You're lined up to go
Well-
this afternoon
Oh.
next door if you'd like to,
Oh, lovely.
and then onto the lodge. And
Oh, really?
And you
And
won't
John
believe
has-
what they've done at the lodge.
God.
if you never went
Because
inside,
a chimney, the fireplace came from our bedroom, didn't it?
Yes, that's what we heard. I
Yes,
remember.
the fire surround.
Yes, the
The
fire
fire
surround.
surround was upstairs
Yes.
in the bedroom.
Let's let this
nice.
poor girl
And go to the loo.
yes.
And we bought it and brought it back and look at it for
As you can see,
Perfect, isn't it?
we really all we did here was we just
There's the
knocked
picture.
we knocked
Yes, I know. I'm just looking.
we knocked this wall down, just to make the way as much as anything, because the loo was bigger than it needed to be, and
Yeah, it was quite big.
to sort of to avoid coming into a blank wall, which is what you used to do, because the wall used to be here.
Yeah.
We had a little plinth in there that we put the dog to bed on,
Oh, right.
so we could
Yes.
shut the door up. And, the dog
And there
was
used to
behind
be a
it.
mat, if you remember, buried in the
Oh, was there?
carpet here. Yes.
What we because this staircase, there was no staircase here.
We'd
right.
heard that.
Yes.
Yes, you got it from a bank or
We
something.
got it from a bank. There was a bedroom above.
Yes.
Oh, right. So this went right across, and there was a bedroom.
There was a bedroom. Yeah, it went
Yes.
right across. There was a bedroom
Yes.
above,
Yes.
which you could get into from the landing, and there was the boiler room down below, and another storeroom of some sort. And the architect that was working with us said, "What you need is a staircase here," and he was quite right.
Yeah.
And we said, "Well, we've already got one there and one to the flat." You know,
Yes.
So why do we?
seems extravagant to
Yes.
put a third staircase in. But he
Yes.
was absolutely right. And
Yeah.
he was doing some renovation work on a bank in Hollywell, and he said, "I
Right.
think the staircase there will fit." And
Oh,
he measured it up.
Hollywell. I had thought closer than that, but Hollywell. Oh, Hollywell in North Wales.
Hollywell in North Wales.
Yes.
And he measured it up, and he said, "I think it'll fit." And he took it to pieces, and that didn't cost me anything except I gave the people who delivered it 2 bottles of whiskey.
Yes.
And it fitted perfectly, except it was 3 inches
Yes.
too short.
Yes.
So we put 3 inches on
On
this,
this floor.
Which it probably needed because it was probably pretty grotty.
It was pretty
anyway.
grotty. It had to be coated.
Then you
anyway,
put the
which
same
is
3
why-
inches on that
so
floor
right
and
the way
that
through
floor
here,
and that floor.
But that's why there was a step down into
Yes.
the
Yes.
kitchen, because all of this area, the floors were, the whole lot was in
Yes,
terrible
and so
state.
Yes.
yes, and yes. Well, thank you for doing what you did because
Yes.
it has
And,
created a lovely
did
home.
we say the staircase came out of a bank in
Yeah, I was just saying.
Yes.
And then the
In
window,
the-
there was a
Hollywell.
window, there was a window at the
Above
bottom
and one
there,
below.
And there was one above it. We just joined them together.
Yes.
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 No, it's
That was when
it's a lot
when
of
we moved
lighting.
in. That was the only room that we decorated because that was Richard's room, and of course
Richard's
it was the
bedroom,
room was completely
Because he was 2 and a
demolished.
bit. We decorated his room
We
first
thought at least
before
the
we knew what we were
little
going to
boy
do.
ought to
Yes.
have a nice room.
Oh.
So the only room we decorated before we moved in
Yes,
was
you-
He was very
Richard's room.
pleased when the builders came to take the floor out of his room.
Yes, very exciting. How old is he now?
36 this year.
Right.
It's frightening, isn't
He was
it?
2 when we came here, and we had a plumber. Was he doing heating, central heating? And he took all the floorboards up along the corridor here
Yeah.
upstairs,
Mhm.
and then he'd gone one day and the floorboards were still up.
He was just putting them down every night when he went.
And we discovered that Richard had gone behind after him and taken them with a claw hammer.
He'd put them all down and then he'd gone, and Richard had gone round. He was only 2.5, 3 years old.
With a claw hammer, taken all the floorboards up.
He'd been watching.
That's very strong of
I'm going to use it.
Yes,
I've done
do.
a little bit in here too.
Yes, you've got a conservatory, haven't you?
Well, it's just a bay window
Just a bay,
you put on.
I'm glad I just think that's beautiful, don't you?
We love it to
Yes.
We do.
absolutely love it to bits, and the number of people are really
You're remarkable.
interested in it.
interested
Yes,
and the colours are just I think are just gorgeous. So.
because there was the wall along there,
Yes.
and then a big long seat that went all the way, just overlooking the garden, and that was on the wall behind the.
That's right,
behind us.
Above the bench.
And then you put the doors in.
This room was a horrible room, and we just we put the
Put the
French
sliding
windows
doors in.
Yes, and we did this room as it was when you came. I think.
Sure.
What were the people called that?
Read.
Reed.
John and Anne Reed. Yes.
I think they were here for about 3 years.
They were.
But I think they couldn't cope with it really. I think she spent hours and hours and hours in the garden.
She loved that, and I think John.
She just completely because the garden was quite wild when we were here, because our kids used to go on the rampage, and I had a big cowbell that hung outside, and if I wanted them I just used to ring the cowbell, and they used to come down from the trees and running up the well you've got three.
We had 3 boys.
Three boys.
We just
Improved
loved
this
it.
as well.
They used to come.
That's yours. You put
That is,
Yes.
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 Fireplace.
This
The
is all
fireplace
the
is the
same.
same.
Yes, that's the same.
That's
But
right.
it had grey tiles, I think.
Yeah, probably did have
round
grey tiles.
and
That's
and
lovely.
path,
That's
so
very
that-
pretty,
And
isn't
it's-
it? I just think you love it, don't
It
you?
is.
We do.
You stay here for forever and ever.
Well, that's certainly
That's the
what
plan.
suits the gardener. So, because to me, the garden is of
The
course an
garden.
upside and a downside. You know,
Well, and the
it's
whole
a
place
lovely
swallows money.
garden, but
Absolutely.
But-
Yes, I was
but-
saying yes, but then
You
you know it's
we've
your
had
home.
Our children, I think,
Yes,
adored as
love-
much as yours do.
Mm.
We had a daughter-in-law who said, "Please, can I get married in your garden?" What an honour is that?
So you had
So
you
we
had a wedding.
marquee
Oh,
on
did
that
you?
lawn, and it was just,
Oh, just-
and it's their wedding anniversary today.
Oh
It was
gosh, so
June the
and it was
16th.
idyllic.
Oh.
It
2
was
years ago.
Well, it had been raining unbelievably.
unrelentingly.
Unrelentingly, but on the day it cleared, and we have some lovely
Mm.
things.
Well,
So what we did, Sylvia, too, just in this room, just to remind you, we actually.
Oh yes, because there
Help
were all
yourself.
Yes, they were.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's so.
Want to take a picture of the.
Because when you sat
Yes,
down,
we-
you lost
Again.
the view.
We wish you were here without the scaffolding, but you know we couldn't get it every which way, could we? Shall we take you that walk around the outside
Yes,
then?
please.
Because I suspect this will be a long
Our
process
trouble was we never had enough money to spend on it.
during
I
the
mean,
club.
we didn't, I mean, when we came here, we paid 17.5
Well, it
for
was
our
28
half,
when we bought
for
this.
this half.
Yes, I know. I think you were
That
you were
was astonishing. And I think
amazingly
the
brave.
people here was amazing. And let me tell you that actually very little changed until we've returned this time.
Yeah.
Because
Gosh.
we
Where have
were.
you been?
Well, I was
Have you
thinking,
been
I was
in
looking
Holland,
in that,
is it?
Holland
that
and
lovely
South
downstairs
Africa.
toilet. All the sanitary ware that we put in was the latest 1970s fashion.
Yeah.
All sort of avocados.
Bubble gum pink.
yeah,
We got rid of
Very
that.
Horrible.
in
Yes.
the bathroom. Yes.
Horrible
In fact,
colours.
like
Looking
the
back.
bath upstairs was not
Yes,
too
yes,
different to
yes,
that.
yes.
It was.
You're not quite right because we've done
We did
We've-
the hall and we did the bay.
Did you rent it out while you
Yes.
while you were in Holland?
Yes.
How long was it rented out for?
Well, if you think that we've owned it for 23 years and we're just coming up 7 years living in it.
Oh right.
but not
So-
not connected seven.
But we had
Yes.
Still here.
we had 11 consecutive years of being out of the country, which is a long time to leave a property
Yeah.
in the hands of people who are renting. So we sort of threw a bit of money at odd problems every now and again. And Fraser, bless him, who I will introduce you to, helped to maintain the garden. But we've done a huge amount in the 4.5 years that we've been back.
In the
It's
garden?
reasonably comfy.
Really?
Yes.
We just used to reckon on keeping the grass cut.
Carry on. Well, it was the garden that sold us the house, probably.
Really?
Yes, because Sue is such
we
a
tell
keen
people
gardener.
that we live in we used to tell people that we lived in a terraced house on an estate.
Carry on. Yes. Well,
That's very clever, isn't it? Because the actual entrance is still exactly the same, isn't it?
it's exactly what
Yes.
you probably put that letterbox and door knocker on.
These are the same windows.
They are.
And they never fit very well.
And every time you opened the door, you know, the gale came in and the warmth came out.
What a lovely, it's been very well done,
Yes.
hasn't it?
They've done it.
And this was
Yes.
Sue's idea. Was, you know, we had an architect help us with this because we've done a couple of rooms together. He started off, you know, replicating this. We thought of taking these 3 windows out and at least 2 and moving them here, but we thought they'd be damaged on the way out, the stonework. So then Sue had this idea of keeping the shape the same, but not trying to complicate the windows, just making them, if you like, an opening through which you would see the old windows, and I think that's worked quite well.
Lovely,
These
isn't it?
walls would have had to be much more beefy in order to take all of
Take
that.
the
and then we
window,
would have
yeah.
lost
The windows would have been much
Yes.
smaller as a result.
Yes, they would have looked very fiddly. So we were trying
There was
to
always
say
a row of wellies along there.
Yes.
All different sizes going down.
stone for here. They really did a super job. And they took a lot of trucks and that sort of thing. Wow. And prior to doing this, we obviously pulled up the cobbles and the old tarmac.
But you
that was
kept,
just,
but you kept the cobbles.
You'll be pleased to know I have
Yes,
2
midway.
Jaguars in the garage,
and
Will.
we have,
Yeah.
I've wanted one of those for years and I've never dreamt I could afford one. And then I
And
was
then we
someone
had
who said,
some-
right, look on eBay.
we
I
said
bought it
we've
on
got a
eBay.
perfect
Oh,
square
and you've been
here,
pleased with it?
rounded
Yeah.
off
When?
with the circle.
2 years ago.
Oh, right.
I got,
Very good. Oh, so you've had it.
don't use it very often.
You've had
It
it-
comes out when the sun shines.
Yes. Today was a perfect
Today
day,
was a
wasn't it?
perfect day.
Yes. Lovely.
What have you got in the garage?
A modern S-type and an E-type.
And it's
Oh,
just
an
tidied
E-type.
it all up
Yes.
so
Yeah,
nice.
that's the right sort of car.
It's on blocks, but it's a runner. I just need to get it back on the road.
These are amazing plants, and they struck me just now. But these are called delictum, and they come up, and they just give you clouds of little purple.
No, we didn't have
purple
Oh,
flowers.
you had a rather scruffy tarmac courtyard with a few cobbles, if you remember.
That's as it was. We
I
didn't do
realise.
anything.
No, I realise.
Feeding a lamb in
In
the
fact,
courtyard.
when we first bought the place, it was covered with undergrowth,
Oh, you couldn't see it.
and we didn't know there were cobbles or anything. I mean, we had to live
Yes,
in the
and over there, Percy, there was a cat den,
nest
wasn't there?
or some
Oh
sort.
dear.
And it was completely overgrown. So we
And a
actually
fruit
discovered the.
store.
Still is,
That was coal.
yes, and bin cupboard.
Well, now it's been
And
covered.
for the fly entrance to
Yes,
the
that we put in.
Yes.
The
Right.
staircase went down the other side into the sort of working area next
Yes,
to
the
Kevin's
staircase
boiler
went
room.
that way, didn't
Yeah.
it? Went
Yes,
straight
you
through.
can see
Yeah.
that from inside.
utility
We've
room.
got such
Yes.
wonderful storage.
Yep.
Yeah, oh,
Well done.
Utility room.
Still, well, I don't know. It may have been immaculate when you were here. It's not
No, it was
immaculate now.
certainly not immaculate.
But
It has-
the Potterton boiler which you put in is still in
Still
there.
there. Gosh.
Still
chickens. We had chickens in.
owes you nothing.
Morello cherry.
Yes.